Okay, well, this speech was dedicated to Robert Gary Skinner, June 29th, 1935 to May 14th, 2011. I was born in a farmhouse in Bath Road in Byron, Michigan, June 29th, 1935 to George and Viola Skinner. I had two younger siblings, Jerry and Sue. I attended the Westbrook Country Club, Westbrook Country School on Duffield Road through 8th grade. I then transferred to Byron High School for my 9th through 12th grade years. I participated in football, basketball, and baseball in high school. In my senior year, I was named Athlete of the Year. In 1953, I started my career at General Motors and worked there until I retired in 1992. On July 25th, 1953, I married my high school sweetheart, Margaret Stites. We bought a little house on Water Street that my wife is still in. We added on as our family grew. When I passed on May 14th, 2011, I left my wife of 58 years, 8 children, 20 grandchildren, and 17 great-grandchildren, and several wonderful people who joined our family through marriage. At our 50th wedding anniversary, I wrote a little story regarding my marriage, the birth of my children and grandchildren to date. I titled the story, "Life is So Good." At the end of the story, I stated the best part of the story is that it will never end. There will always be more married into and born into the family. I was a part of the Byron Ambulance from 1975 to 1992. I worked with Louis Small Funeral Home before the ambulance service was established. I started as an advanced first aider and then became an emergency medical technician. My wife Margaret also worked with me. When I retired from GM, I worked with Ernie Streeter at Streeter Funeral Home. I was on the Board of Review for 15 years and a volunteer fireman for 10 years. I was a part of the village government for several years, and I was a trustee from 1962 to 1969, treasurer from 1969 to 1978, and village president from 1978 to 1986. During my time as president, I worked hard in getting the grant that allowed us to build a new bridge on Maple Avenue. The village held a ceremony dedicating the bridge, and they named it the Robert G. Skinner Bridge. I received the Edgar A. Guest Award given by the Byron Lodge at 80 F and AM. This award is Byron's top citizen award. I was the first non-Mason to be honored for outstanding service during the 133-year history of the lodge. I loved sports. I played when I was in school, and I watched my children and grandchildren play who followed in my athletic footsteps. I continued to enjoy golf, mainly in the Thursday night men's league at Willowbrook Golf Course. I bowled in a league in Durant with my brother, Jerry Skinner, and friends, and there were a few years that I even played with my 5 sons. I played softball as well, until I felt I was a little too old for that. So I went behind the plate and umpired for a few years. I became involved with the Byron School's athletic department when my kids were in school. I ran the clock for most of the home football games for 43 years. I also ran the clock for home basketball games for 40 years. I would ride my bike to the baseball games to watch games. My family did not have to be playing for me to enjoy the games. Here's a little note I received when I retired from running the clock from the football games. In appreciation, the Byron High School football program would like to recognize Bob Skinner for his years of service. Bob started keeping score for the Byron Eagles in 1966 with a manual scoreboard and a hay wagon. Later he was moved up to a school bus for better visibility. Now, 43 years, 5 head coaches, and over 400 games later, Bob has decided to retire. His dedication and generosity should be an example to us all. Thank you, Bob Skinner.
Very good, Cole.
Good job, Cole.
Good job, buddy.
Nice job, Cole.